Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have Albertsons American blended whiskey, brown and gold bottle, label, clear glass bottle. This company was founded in 1939. I don't know when their blended whiskey hit the market, but apparently it's been around a long time. Matured in American oak. Now, I don't think they make this Albertsons brand anymore. I think they switched it to a brand name that could be sold across the Super Value, Safeway, Vaughn's, Jewel, Osco, Albertsons, Amigos, so on, and they're a huge grocery chain across the United States. So if you go to Albertsons today, they'll have 75 South. And if you go to Jewel, Osco, they'll have 75 South, and Vaughn's, they'll have 75 South, because that wouldn't be stuck to one store. And there's a snazzy new 75 South label. I noticed in Albertsons they updated the label, make it look a lot more attractive. So I haven't seen any Albertsons branded liquor in any of the stores. Okay, so I think they've gotten away from that. Is it the same thing? Probably. Good morning, Ron. Good morning to you, Max Walt, in the Russian Federation. Now, I have the Albertsons Canadian blended whiskey, and when that's gone, I think there's a replacement there. I can't remember. I don't know, whatever. It's some brand, but it's hooked to it's a private label, really. Jack Cottrell. Good morning, Jay. Good morning to you, Jack. So that's the Albertsons. Now, a tradition of quality since 1939. They're not talking about the whiskey. They're talking about the company Albertsons. This is the 80th anniversary. Bottled by County Line Distillers, Louisville, Kentucky, which is an alias for Sazerac, or I think the U.S. government calls it assumed names. They're allowed. We love to hear from our customers, and it says info@bartonbrands.com. And then there's the 1-800 number. I think the person commenting on the videos was saying that Barton used to handle all these store brands and then, 10 years ago, Barton got bought out by Sazerac. Or they were bought by Sazerac from another company. Barton hasn't been independent in a long time. It says the Albertsons and Albertsons logo trademarks are owned by Super Value Incorporated, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, 750 milliliters, 80% grain spirits, which means it's only 20% straight whiskey. You say, golly. And I don't have too much left. It's pretty dark for something aged only 4 years. And it could be more than 4 years, but more than likely isn't. And it's aged in a used barrel. You know what? With blended whiskey, you're allowed to add coloring. Like caramel color. True. It's the truth. You say, well, if it's 80% grain alcohol, how can it be like you can buy grain alcohol at Walmart, Everclear and Diesel, which is uncut. Well, let's see, Diesel, I don't think Walmart has it. Mathern's has Diesel. But that's grain alcohol uncut. It's like 190 proof. What they do is they take corn and then they make the grain spirits. They cut it with water, like just treated tap water down to 80 proof. Then they blend in the 80 proof bourbon, generally bourbon. And so there you go. But it's almost all corn, because corn. Bourbon is corn whiskey. So it's just the treatment that they're given more than anything that makes it what it is. Michael Crouch says, good morning. Good morning to you, Michael. Okay, so then we have the competitor, the very bizarre Clubhouse American blended whiskey, also a brown label, but not brown and gold, brown and like linen, like an ecru linen. Parchment color, like almost like parchment paper, like for a diploma. Product of USA, blended whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color. Oh boy. Kentucky Standard Distillers, Bardstown, Kentucky. That's Heaven Hill. That's their assumed name. No age statement. No blend ratio even. Is it 80-20? I don't know what it is. It has to be at least 80-20. That's the minimum allowed for blended whiskey. If you go above 80% grain spirits, then it's called spirit whiskey. That's allowed to be sold, but it's got to be called spirit whiskey. There's Rebecca Creek spirit whiskey. I don't know why somebody would pay $23 for it, but seems to sell because it got a pretty bottle and a cork and all. All right, anyway, but this is an actual class of product, liquor. And some people will say it's just flavored vodka, blah, blah, blah. Okay. They've been making it for over 100 years, probably 200 years. Maybe not to the standards up of today. 100 years, 150 years ago, it might make you go blind or kill you. But it's recognized as a class of whiskey by the U.S. government, whether you like that or not. They are allowed to have blended whiskey in Canada, which is mostly grain whiskey. They call it grain whiskey. You say, oh, but it's aged 3 years. That's right. In America, the grain spirits don't have to be aged. You could take unaged, fresh, or raw grain alcohol and mix it with aged whiskey, usually bourbon, and that's your age statement. Your blend. Because they said the whiskeys in this blend are aged at least 2 years, whatever they'll say on the bottle. It didn't say the grain spirit, but you can age the grain spirits too. You see, you can take the grain neutral spirits, put them in the barrel with the straight whiskey and age that for 3 or 4 or 5, 6 years. And then it wouldn't be grain neutral spirits anymore because it would take on some of the wood flavor. That would be the better way of doing it. And I think that's what they do with Seagram 7. That's why it has a more pure wood taste. Now these are so cheap and shortcut. They just adding the flavoring and the coloring and putting it out there and say, okay, you old drunks, here you go. You say, well, that's a very caustic thing to say. And it's a very, what's that word? Cynical thing to say. It is. It is cynical and caustic. And it's probably true because if you watch the video for when whiskey.com interviewed, they're from Germany, and they interviewed the representative for Heaven Hill in Bardstown, Kentucky. He asked him a question, and the guy gave an honest answer. He was like, "What do you do? What do you do with the whiskey that doesn't come out correctly?" Because every barrel is not gonna, every batching won't be good. Let me wipe this up. Little tiny spill. Because some of that bourbon, you got thousands of barrels. I went in a barrel house in Bardstown at Heaven Hill, Barton, 1792, Sazerac Company. And I went in that barrel house, and there were over 22,000 barrels in one rick house. Although most of those barrels were containing contract aged brandy, Paul Masson brandy. Excuse me. So they were aging the brandy for another company, but the whole point is that every batching going to be just right. So the man burst out. He said, "Well, we use it for our blended whiskeys." And he burst out laughing, kind of embarrassed laugh, but kind of. I said, "Well, at least they're admitting it. Some of the bourbon doesn't come out quite right. It's off in the flavor. So then they put it in these blends and they add flavor into it and kind of mask it. Okay, fine. It's only $6. Okay, fine. It's $6.99 a liter. All right, I paid $6.99 for a liter. Am I expecting a lot when I do that? No, I'm not. I know I'm dealing with low-end stuff here. I mean, I kind of realize what I'm dealing with. And then here's Albertsons, and it was $4.99 for a 750. So if you know what you're dealing with, then you know what you're dealing with. Okay. I don't need tags. I don't know why I was concerned about tags, because that Clubhouse smells so strange and tastes so unusual. You're never going to mix it up. You're never going to confuse it with something else. So it's not really a challenge. Now let's look at the color. I was trying to pour some of the whiskey back in because I thought I poured too much, but it didn't work out so well. You can see our glass like this is not designed for pouring. Got too much Clubhouse and not enough Albertsons, but that's okay. That's enough. They're both amber or brown. What is it? Brown liquor? Tan. Let's say tan. Darker than amber, lighter than brown. Tan. Well, wait a minute. Okay. Haha. Poured too much Albertsons. Well, that's all right. It's better anyway. Albertsons has more traditional aromas, like wood, the whiskey, like what you would associate with whiskey, just in that stereotypical sense. And there's some like dried flowers, like you see people have those dried flowers that they buy from those home decor stores, or you can get them like Cost Plus, World Market, stuff like that. It's standard, but I mean, for $4.99, smells nice, looks fine. I mean, even though they're probably cheating with coloring, okay, fine. Oh yeah, Scotch. I was gonna say Irish, blended Irish whiskey and blended Scotch whiskey. They use the same principle. They use grain whiskey. It's just column stilled corn liquor. It's clear, like they say, it's clear. Got no color, got no aroma, got no flavor. So where does the flavor come from? Minimally from the barrel. These are used barrels, very minimally. Mostly from the single malt scotches that are added, about 20% probably. Don't know. They don't usually disclose the blend ratio. I don't recall any scotch ever disclosing a blend ratio. They might disclose the number of whiskeys. That, like I think J&B says, they use 42 different whiskeys. Okay. It's pretty complex, huh? Has a complex flavor. But they're using the bulk. Huh? Now the Japanese, usually, not always, but generally they have the rice whiskey. They're getting the grain spirits from rice. And then you have single malt, barley malt. You know what I'm saying? Barley whiskey. It gives it that Scotch feel, but it's different because of that rice. Yeah. Okay, so this Clubhouse, woo. You're a weird one. What's the Clubhouse? I mean, the Clubhouse gin was strange in the sense that it had that peculiar lemon note like this has, except it seemed to fit better. Like the Clubhouse gin kind of fit, worked. This was so bizarre and strange, I couldn't figure it out. Then I realized after like the fourth time, during the fourth addressing of it, fourth time consuming it, I said, oh, they're using cocktail sherry. Okay. And maybe plum wine. I don't know if that's allowed. I never saw anything on the Tax and Trade Bureau website about, but they just say flavor. I don't know. This say flavors added, natural flavors added. It doesn't say flavor added, singular, right? There's a tip off. So maybe it is plum wine and doggone cocktail sherry. Tastes like it, smells like it. It's not repellent anymore. There's only one little problem, or I should say one major problem. Doesn't taste like whiskey. They say that blended American whiskey should have the aroma and flavors generally associated with whiskey. This has the aroma and flavor generally associated with plum, wine, and cocktail sherry flavored grain spirits. Sorry, it's what it tastes like. Now, can I go to court and say this is a tort? I've been damaged. I need a settlement because this does not have the flavor and aroma generally associated with whiskey? I guess I could. It would be probably considered a frivolous lawsuit because I paid only $6.99 for the bottle. Any good judge would tell me, you know, You're so stupid. What did you think you were getting for $6.99? You know, that's what would be the just thing for the judge to tell me, get out. It's not like you bought 20 cases for a wedding. Of course, you could have tried it first. So I'm sure that case would go nowhere. So this is, when I was talking better about it in the previous video, I forgot that it had such a strong grain spirit taste. And the grain spirit taste is almost like water. It's just like you're drinking water. That's what it is. It's corn liquor, moonshine, okay, cut with water. It doesn't taste bad anymore. Now, the first 3 times it tasted bad, and I was going on and on about it. I was so offended by it. I couldn't get over it. And it was everything. But now I can see it's all right, but it just doesn't taste proper. Let's go to the Albertsons, the son of Albert. It has a more proper flavor. I ain't saying it's a great flavor. It isn't really. It's the same kind of thing, the grain spirits cut with water and some oak and some of the floral dried flowers. I noticed that when I first tried what was the first American blended whiskey I tried? What was it? Jim, it's not Jim, it's Beam's 8-star. There's no Jim in it. Beam's 8-star. I was saying that years ago. And then somebody was commenting, you think that's so good, blah, blah, blah. I was like, whoever, I didn't say that. I knew what I was dealing with. Finally, he said, I'm never going to comment on your videos anymore. That was good news to my ears. If you tell me one time you hate my videos, I'll believe you. You don't have to tell me 2 times a day for a year or 2 years. I really don't need, you know, I believe you. I believe you the first time. This is pretty dull. Wouldn't call it bad. I would say it's $4.99 a bottle, and it's exactly what you would expect. Not a lot of much of it, you know, not much of anything. Good English, huh? Do I think the 75 South is going to be any different? No, I don't. If you want to save some time, don't watch it, because then it's going to be a repeat. I'll be saying this one has very peculiar flavors, such as the cocktail sherry and the plum wine, and then go, no. And then this is going to be dull. So you might say, I don't need to see that. I understand that. I did a video shoot with my friend David, and a secret, he said he didn't feel comfortable coming on camera yet. That might change. We did a revisit of the, well, it was first time for him, but a revisit of the Sacred Bond Brandy, you know, Christian Brothers Sacred Bond Brandy. And we were talking, we weren't clowning around. Now, a lot of these 30-minute videos is a bunch of clowning, you see. And then they'll go off and talk about other things. You know, well, you know, when my uncle used to visit, you know, it's like 20 minutes of the videos about where relatives should stay when they come visit. And I was like, that's not germane to the topic. But when people have a 30-minute video and it's focusing on the product and they're really concentrating on it, and it isn't clowning, or if it is a little bit, like the one I watched this morning for Zingu Black, there was some clowning in it, but it was not the main focus of the video. It was like a real detailed examination, and they were talking about Zingu Black from Brazil. And okay, so it was 18 minutes, but they were progressing through it like I'm doing here, and it was interesting. There was another video I saw, it was over an hour long, posted yesterday, about Mexican hot chocolate beer, which I have tried. I didn't think it was too great. But I didn't see where the person was talking about the stout. It was just answering comments. Oh, yeah. Like people hanging out. I said, well, golly gee, I wouldn't want to see that. Well, I kept looking through the video. Where's the discussion of the product? I never did find it. I wasn't going to sit there for an hour to hear a 2-minute discourse on the product. So I just deleted it, kept going. I mean, I'm glad everybody was chummy and was having a good time. but I didn't need to see it. Okay. This is so strange. It's a weird product. I mean, you could buy it if you want to pay $6.99 a liter. It's like, yeah, if you pay $6.99 for a liter, it's worth it because it's so strange. And if you want to taste exotic and weird and off kilter and quaint and unusual and probably aberrant and not proper liquors, it's worth it in that sense. But otherwise, hello, Danny. Otherwise, I can't endorse it. I can't say you should buy it and try it. If you don't ever try, you ain't missing much. But you would be missing out on that very peculiar flavor. It's like nothing you ever wanted in whiskey and less. You know what I mean? It's like, what does Country Club offer that I'm looking for in whiskey? And my answer would be nothing except for 80 proof. Now, if you're only looking for the alcohol, and I've had people accuse me of that, you only drink to get buzzed. Well, that's actually it's not true because it doesn't really ever happen except maybe on accident. Like if I don't pace it right, and the schedule is too tight together. Okay. But it's never the goal, like, oh, I'm getting drunk tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna show y'all. There's nothing like that. So it has the 80 proof, but so what? They got a lot of things that have 80 proof. I mean, you could buy Dobra vodka for what? Some stores have it for $5.99. Dobra. Oh, but that's a $7.50. Well, take your pick at the bottom shelf. It's up to you. I got a great deal on 100 Piper Scotch, a whole $7.50. 750 milliliters worth of 100 Piper Scotch earlier this month. And you know what that cost me? $3.98. Now, how often can you find blended Scotch whiskey for $3.98? You're probably saying, yeah, but that's like a 200 milliliter bottle. No. Full size, $7.50, 750 milliliters of blended Scotch for $3.98. I'll never top that. And that's a good one. See, Seagram's 100 Pipers taste like blended Scotch should taste. Smoky, got a lot of body, a lot of character. It's not like these things where it's like something wrong with it. It doesn't match up. That's a legit. That's a name brand. That's not some store brand. That's like a real product. You can find it all over the world. It's one of the top selling whiskeys in India, in fact. So will I ever top that price? I don't see how I could. I don't see how. How could you top $3.98 for a pretty well-regarded blended Scotch whiskey, which has actually won awards from Chivas Brothers. All right. Would I recommend the Albertsons? Well, that's a moot point because I don't think it's made anymore. But I know what you're going to say. Yeah, but some of these things will linger on the shelves for years after the production ends. You're right. I mean, if you see it around for $4.99 on closeout, because it's going to be on closeout, it's probably worth buying. I mean, just assuming you have absolutely no expectations of any kind of respectability aside from a little woodiness, and it is clean. It's clean. Yes, a clean water. Yeah. Clean grain alcohol. Yeah. Clean. Well, yeah, it's clean in that sense, but it's nothing remarkable in any way. But so yeah, $4.99. I'd pull the trigger on it. I'd make the move. Even $5.99, but I wouldn't pay a penny more. Would I pay $6? Never. Never. But $4.99 is a great price for that. At least you got a pretty label, I mean, at least the label looks nice. Gotta say that. I mean, they did a good job with it. Kind of nice. Color scheme is nice. Clubhouse, it sort of looks like a food service label. Like I saw a Cisco truck yesterday. Food in service is our specialty, I think it said. Food and service, because that's what they do. They deliver to like hospitals, school cafeteria. That's what it looks like. Some food service whiskey, like they may deliver it in bulk to like this huge banquet. Knights of Columbus banquet, Southeastern region 2019. And they just dump in the whiskey, you know, something like that. Those people are going to be consuming major quantities. They're not going to be sitting there examining not going to be sitting at the table like, oh, look at the unique, you know, nothing like that. Okay, Joe Biden's interested. Tried the new Guinness Milk Stout out of Baltimore. Highly recommended, $9.99 a six. Well, if I see it for $9.99 a six, I'm going to get it. But I haven't seen it in Louisiana, and I would love to try it. Do I expect it to show up here? I do expect that to show up because we've gotten all the other variants. Well, many of the other variants, you see. Many of the other variants. So I'd be delighted to try it. Okay, well, enough of this. This is what it is. It is, and like Paulie said, this is what it is. All right? Nobody's telling you you can't do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. But just keep it in check. It's basically what they were saying. You need to keep things reined in a bit, you know. So we do want to keep this in the proper perspective and context of what we're dealing with. Okay, so the next one is planned for Thursday morning, and it's going to be 75 South versus Clubhouse. And I would say the results would be identical. And if you want to save yourself time, don't watch it because you're going to be looking at a repeat of this. Just like literally a repeat. And then with the, on Saturday with the Barton American, well, that's a little different. Now, Barton American from California and Kentucky, depending on what part of the country you live in, that's a little different. So it could be worthwhile. Could be worthwhile, you know. All right. So thank you. Now it's off. I'm going to try to do another beer review this morning. Another one of those flavored beers. Oh, well, that's not a big deal. Thanks for watching this video production.